What's up, everybody? Give everybody a few minutes just to see if anybody joins up here. All right. What's up, everybody? You guys can type in the chat too. I'll read it right here for the Zoom. There's gonna be a lot of people who join this bad boy. If you guys have, what's up, Riva? If you guys have any questions too, feel free to ask too. I'm gonna go based off the trivia questions that everybody's gonna have. Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm gonna break down some tickers for you guys as well, while I break down what supply and demand is and the basic stuff that you should be looking for when it comes to charting and things like that. So I'm gonna try to cover everything that I potentially can. I'll delete everything first. That way nobody's cheating. And QRTY. Hopefully you guys are having a great weekend too. What'd you guys do? Did you guys cook up any food? I know somebody here grilled. Can you guys hear me good? Everything fine? We'll make sure it's good. Cool, awesome. Thank you guys. Sounds good, awesome. I have everybody muted too, just so there's not a lot of crazy noise in the background and stuff like that. So again, I'll be reading the messages, like 30 of you guys, but I think there's going to be about 50 to 100. Kind of cool. You guys ready for some put plays or what? Yeah, there's a lot of people. Jeez. If you guys want to ask me anything, feel free right now. You guys have the chance to. I'm just giving a few minutes, see if anybody else joins. It's 4 o'clock, so it should be good. But I will be breaking down supply and demand, price action, zones. If you guys are wondering too, I don't use indicators. I know probably some of you might want to ask that. It's kind of like a normal question that I always get. I don't use indicators ever. Yeah, we do. It's a gut feeling. Since you don't use indicators, which one would you say can be useful? It depends, man. Elucid, I think that's a great question. And it depends on the trader that you are. There's different types of strategies that can be used using an indicator. So for example, like the 8 and 9 EMA is like an intraday trend. If you see something staircasing up or staircasing down, whichever may be, once it bounces off that trend line, I mean the indicator, then that means it's going to be useful for that particular day. If you're using something that's going range, trading sideways, intraday, like on a smaller time frame, let me just give you an example. So like here, right? So we were range right here like the whole day. For a day like this, I think the VWAP would be pretty cool because it's 3 bands. So once you go above the VWAP, you can grab puts there and then ride it all the way down to the middle VWAP. And then same thing on the bottom, you can grab the bottom of the VWAP and then trade it all the way back to the top. So just because you know that it's in the range, so every indicator has its particular strategy and definition of entries and exits. So really, in reality, man, I think I like that question. Which one would you say can be useful? Each indicator is used in a different type of setting and strategy. So that just depends on the trader himself or herself, whoever it may be. But I don't use any. What you guys see here is what you see. Just the regular volume in the background. Nothing fancy. It's nothing here that's going to tell me there's a lot of volume or not, just some blue bars. It's like when you buy a car, everything's stock. Same thing with TOS. That's all I did. Cool, quite a bit of you guys in there. What up, ST, Victor, Thompson, Paul's iPhone? Man, a lot of you guys got iPhones. Quite a bit of you guys are on iPhones. I'm gonna give you guys a nice Apple put play, and then you guys got to buy yourself a Android. How's that sound? iPhone people. All fun and games. You love iPhones because you haven't had an Android yet. Team Android, heck yeah, knock life. I think you're gonna be my best friend today. Yeah, heck yeah, there you go. Where's my indicator? I don't have an indicator. Just short Apple. Buy an Android with the profits. Gotta make you guys laugh somehow, break the ice for you guys. All right. I think there's about 35 people charting the links. 35 of you guys in here. Welcome everybody. If you guys don't know me, I am Chef. I am in Suji's Discord group, and a lot of you guys are from there. If you guys are new, if you guys are experienced, let me know. Maybe something that I can help you with whatever it is may be. If you guys see the breakdowns that I post, the contracts that I post, there's a specific structure. So if you guys go on that channel, it should be pinned. Oh wait, no, it's pinned. You know what? I will pin it on the structure that I specifically use when I trade. But you guys will kind of get the idea of what to look for whenever you guys see one of my charts, right? You guys gonna see just this naked chart, nothing on there besides some yellow boxes and some trend lines, and that's all you're gonna see. I try to keep it as simple as possible. I don't like to overthink anything. I don't like to, second guess myself. I just like to buy and sell when things make sense. I can trade. I can day trade, I can scalp, I can swing trade, long term, whatever it is that you guys have questions with, I can do it. I'm not no millionaire, okay? I don't drive no fancy cars and I could care less. I'm just somebody who's very comfortable, and I want to help people. That's all I want to do, okay? So I've been doing this for almost 5 years. I think I'm gonna go past 5 years. I don't even know anymore. I just know I've been doing this for such a long time that the structure and consistency that I found it in supply and demand, because this market is only made up of two things. And these two things are buyers and sellers. If there's no buyers, you're not going to see a green candle. If there's no sellers, you're definitely not going to see any red candles. So that's the only thing that moves this market. Unless you guys can sit there and tell me that something else moves it, by all means, I'll drop everything down and give you guys everything that I own. But that's the only thing that moves the market: someone buying and someone selling. So I try to keep it as simple as possible, and I try to identify where something is going to be broken down with value and supply, demand. I mean, you name it. Whatever comes, I want to be able to understand where and why. Okay. Again, I am a zone trader. So what does that consist of? That consists of a zone is basically an area where there's a lot of value being created, and it's an accumulation phase. Okay. A zone is a structure of many candle bodies put together. Okay, you can't just find a zone on a 5-minute time frame because there's like 3 5-minute candles and call that a zone. It's not. A zone is something big, kind of like this, right? So you see how we have structures of candle bodies right here that went sideways. From the bottom, you see a wick because those are those buyers, again, like we said. And as you can see on the top, there's not that many sellers, right? They try to drop it down, but they couldn't. And then right here, look at, you got more buyers than sellers all the way till you get to this little point right there, okay? So identifying where those areas are in value, that's what's going to create the accumulation, and it's going to create that supply, okay? So what is supply? Supply is distribution. Supply is the area where there's going to be, again, multiple candle structures, candle bodies, all right? I don't use the wicks. So remember that I don't ever use the wicks unless it's a trend line, or if it's a pattern. For example, you know, if these wicks were touching together, then it would be a trend line. If, you know, these wicks were touching, and it would be a bounce off that trend line. Things like that is the only time that I use the wicks for charting. Other than that, when I find zones, I find it off the weekly time frame, just because there really isn't any gaps, and you have the full price action here. The full price action is based on everything that's happened in the past that will most likely happen in the future. That is price action, okay? It's something that's it's a predictable future from past movements, all right? So that's what it is. You're basically predicting the future with the past movements, all right? That's what price action is. Zone trading, it's all priced action based. It's what it is. Like I said, I don't use indicators. So if there is a zone here, for example, like if I would have seen this huge red candle right here, my instinct is to buy and to stop loss right below. The instinct is to buy because plenty of times we bounced here at that specific level, and then I wanted to, you know, take the call to the top side. So the next point, basically your supply, you just want to do, what you want to do is you want to flip the chart upside down and kind of just see the same thing, right? You're building a supply, and then right here, this is your confirmation to go shorts, and then you basically come down, you go from one zone to the next zone. The zone is the bigger area of accumulation, and you're riding all the way to the next area of accumulation, which is up here is distribution phase. And you can see that the confirmation is right there, right? Here, the confirmation that it was demand, it rocked back up. And then right here on this wick, it confirmed it as a demand zone. And we're currently right there at that same spot right now. So just to give you an example, I'm marking it, and you can see the wick right here from what was this last month? We ended up touching it, and we got bought up, and then we came right inside on /ES. And then right now we're again basically testing that same level. So a lot of you guys are probably thinking, like, you know, we have war, we have interest rates, we have inflation, we have all this stuff, and everybody's like 100% bearish, which I get it. I think that we are a little bearish into the market, right? So first of all, you got to look on how strong that zone is, right? So how strong it is, how many times it's been tested, how many buyers have shown up, how many sellers have shown up, whichever one comes first. In this case, what you want to look on price action is that at one point we did bounce, we confirmed, number one. Right here, we made a higher low, so we never really hit it. So here, this is the second time we've hit that zone. Now we're going for a third. The question here, a lot of the times, is a lot of traders like to say that every time we hit the third time, we like to break it. So whatever it is, whether it's resistance or support, every time that we hit it for the third time, we end up cracking it. So here, that's kind of like what we have. We don't have no structure. We don't have a structure to say, hey, there's tons of buyers here. There's multiple candle bodies here. There's a lot of, you know, maybe there's like a falling wedge. Maybe there's, you know, a miniature bull flag, a bear pennant, a bear flag, and it starts to break above, but it never has. So we don't have that. We don't have that history yet. When we're looking for that history, we want the test. We want, you know, the buyers to show up at that level, which in this case, no buyers are showing up. Now, I know we have all night, guys. We did just gap down pretty heavily based on some news, and I don't want to say that we're heading into demand and it's time to start buying, because technically I think the news right now is a little more heavy, and the catalyst is more of an extra tool that's providing you that confirmation to go with the trend, which is the trend now bearish, and everything is dropping on down. Okay, so you got to be a little more patient when you're trying to buy at demand. You got to understand when and why. Okay, right now we're in a bearish market. Is it okay to buy at demand right now? The answer is no, because now your risk becomes a lot higher. Number two, is it okay to buy at supply, meaning you're going to short the top? The answer is yes, because your risk becomes minimal. So the riskier trades now are calls, and the more rewarding plays are puts. So shorting at the top of supply makes sense, and holding your put or bag holding your put, whatever you guys want to do, I think it makes more sense at this point, because you guys all experienced, I don't know if some of you guys have or not. I don't know when you guys started trading, but if you started trading somewhere anywhere in here, all you know is how to trade calls. And some of you, I can almost guarantee that you would bag hold a call for a few days and you ended up coming out green somehow, some way. And sometimes you would buy something and you swing for the fences and you made tons of money because everything was so bullish. What happens is you've never really experienced the bearish side, and now you're stuck with this volatility. So the volatility now is creating everything to change, and it's causing you as a trader to make different decisions, but yet you're still stuck on the bullish side. That's what kind of taught me basically on these past 2 months, is to adjust to the market. Even if you're experienced, you still got to be able to adjust and understand that direction right now is a little bit bearish, right? So it's a little difficult, guys. I know, I get it, but just always remember that learn to adjust with the market. Learn what's in front of us, what kind of what you're facing, what you're up against, and what's backing you up. Okay, a zone. Whenever you find a zone, a demand zone like this one, for example, my first question to you guys is, where would you feel more comfortable buying the dip at, knowing that we're downtrending, right? Would you feel comfortable buying the dip here? Or would you feel more comfortable buying the dip than down here? Can one of you guys answer that? Which one would you feel more comfortable? Right here at 42.20, 25, or 41.40? The bottom one, yes. Second one, 41.40. Yeah, all you guys have the same answer. One of you said 42.25. You're savage, man. The bottom, the lowest points. Yep. Knock life. Get with the program, man. All right. So the importance right here, the importance is to have minimal risk. Okay. When you have minimal risk when it comes to supply demand, you want to know how for 4,000, you want to know how much value there is in a demand. All right. So a demand zone is accumulation. All right. This is accumulation phase right here. All right. Remember that. Supply is distribution. A zone is created by value. The value in the market, like at this point in time, I don't know how valuable it was. Like, for example, maybe there was an upgrade in the market. Maybe Apple earnings was rocking, or Tesla was breaking out, and Amazon was just breaking out, making all-time highs. Whatever the value was at that point, that value should still stand over here. So that's what a zone is. Once that value gets established, then that demand at the bottom is going to be that area where somebody somewhere is going to be buying that dip, meaning that the retail crew is going to be there. The investors are going to be there. The investors are the ones who want the long-term dip wise, and they're not looking for a little bounce from 41.30 to 42. They're looking from 41.40 all the way to 47 or 48 or 49. They're thinking, if I buy the dip right here, my take profit is going to be way over there. And they're not, investors are not looking for, a swing trade, for tomorrow for the gap fill from pre-market. They're not looking at that stuff. They're looking at value in the market in general, right? For example, let me just show you PayPal. Talk about value here, right? PayPal. Off the top of your guys' head, right? You guys got to communicate with me. From the top of your head, what kind of value does PayPal hold in general as a company? Okay. Now I know the earnings have been bad lately. I know we've been dropping crazy heavy, and it almost seems like there's not going to be a time where PayPal recovers, right? Not to say that it's never going to come up here. Thank you. Web transaction, my value for online business. Yes, all those are great things, right? If you guys can come up with some more stuff, that would be great. So whenever you guys look at something and you see these red candles, right? A lot of people think, oh, well, this is going to keep dropping down and it's so bearish, and whatever you do, don't buy the dip yet. And I'm going to wait for a confirmation, to maybe we'll break 160, but you've already lost a $60 move when you could have bought at 100. Okay. So the difference here is when you buy at a value area, it has to make sense for the investor. There's got to be like some type of upgrade. But the main thing for the company has to be a future guidance. Okay. When a value is established, it has to be with future guidance. It's not always about like trying to find the bottom in a stock, right? For in this case, let's look at right here. It almost looks like this is the bottom right here. But again, like we're in a bearish market, and how low can you go really? That's like everybody's question. The answer is this thing can go to zero. Okay. The stocks will go down and go up as much as they want with or without you. But when they come down, it's probably the best time to start looking and start thinking that, hey, maybe this company has a value, and let's go look at some of the news. Let's go look at some upgrades. Let's go see how well it's holding. Let's look at the volume. You look at those things, and a long-term perspective is how you would look at a zone, right? So how valuable, is that zone right here for PayPal? For me, this screams freaking buy me, okay? I may be wrong at PayPal at 100, and, most people are saying that it's going to drop to 80 and 75, and that's all cool, but at least I'm going to try and buy the dip here at 100 when something makes sense to me. I think the market is just like a little too crazy right now, like UPST. Thank you, Ricky. I agree with you. The market is too much in a bearish state that there isn't any buyers in general, but there is a point where something always has to bounce. Okay. I'm not saying that we're going to look for like a huge green candle or like this is the reversal or things like that. But definitely, like, I think PayPal is one of those companies where a lot of people are going to come in later. So it's a personal decision. Yeah, because it's what you believe in. The value in the company. If you do some due diligence and search out like what it is and what it does and the financials and all this stuff, totally on you. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys the rap sheet for PayPal, right? But I think PayPal has a lot of value, in my personal opinion, from all the stuff that I've researched. Plus, I use PayPal. So whenever PayPal is down here, moving forward for me, I think it's going to be at a great spot because the markets are coming down right now so heavily that you almost want to sit here and be like, well, is it worth shorting now that it's still at the bottom? I don't think it's worth shorting something like these. I think it's worth watching and keeping track of for the value that may potentially build. What if we get a range right here, right? What is this called? What if we build a range right here? What is this called, guys? If we were to build a range right here, what would this be called? Can somebody answer? A zone, yes. Accumulation, yes. It will be accumulation. It's the accumulation phase where everything accumulates. Basically, what happens here is that there's going to be buyers and sellers all at once. Demand, consolidation, yes, all of that. Do I own shares of PayPal? Not yet. I'm scared to buy something right now in the market. I actually sold some stuff last week. Chop, yes, that's what retail crew will call it, because they don't understand what's happening. The accumulation phase, you got to remember that it's the area where people are building value for demand, for future guidance, something that's going to have value established. That's what it is. Phil, you must know me. That's why you use the word chop. Buyers finding value. Yes, that's what it is. That's what the zone is. All right. So I would rather look for call plays here. Like, let's just say, for example, the market gets a green day. I'm not going to go and look to short something because you can't fight the trend for that day, that specific day. I definitely want to come down here and look for something that may have potential value. If the market starts to reverse, for example, and then PayPal is still building accumulation and the market continues to go, there's potential that somebody may find value down here after a few days of consolidation, demand, accumulation, a zone, chop, value, all that, and then break to the top. And next thing you know, you're catching a good runner in the markets. So I would rather be looking for PayPal calls versus trying to look for another a leg down, like everybody would say. It's like you're trying to short something that already got shorted from 312 all the way down to this 102. That's it. Basically $200 move, $300 move. Not a reward. Yeah, it's not a lot of reward. It's not worth trading, right? But yeah, that's kind of like what's the value for accumulation is, right? A zone, it's accumulation, right? And the other thing, the strength of the time frame. Okay, want to show you guys. This is why I brought up the weekly. I always use the weekly chart whenever I chart on Sundays. In this case, today's Monday, President's Day. Happy President's Day to everybody. I don't know if you guys celebrate it, but I know some of you guys probably having beers and having hot dogs and burgers somewhere. I don't know. But the bigger the time frame, the more value it has. Okay. And of course, the bigger the bounce. All right. The one thing though about the weekly time frame, the bigger the time frame, is that the long-term value point. Okay. What I mean by that is that an investor, somewhere who knows, from here to New York, I'm in California, is going to look at PayPal and say, man, this has had a great deal. All right. Have you guys ever been to the store and there's like an amazing deal for something that you guys like, and you guys are automatically, like, no hesitation, you automatically just buy it because it's something you like and it's because it's on a deal? Think of it in a stock as well. It's on this weekly time frame. It's at its lowest point and there's value there at that price point. That is long-term value. Okay, that's what it is. So the long-term value, what I mean is, like I said earlier, if Riva says, hey chef, I'm gonna buy 1,000 shares right here of PayPal at 100. Cool. She sees a lot of value, and her target 5 years from now, she's looking at the 300 mark. She's gonna be like, okay, PayPal long-term growth, the value of it and everything is gonna go to 300. So in 5 years, I'm gonna be chilling at 300. My percentage is pretty amazing, right? He said, well, Riva, but I'm gonna tell Riva, you know what? I'm not gonna buy 1,000 shares or 1 million shares. I'm gonna start with 50, and then as soon as it starts going up, I'm at another 50, and then another 50, and then just ride the wave all the way to the top. And dollar cost average, average up, average in, and you just want to keep on riding the wave. So it's the point of finding value, a long-term deal that's going to make sense for you guys. And it's just whatever you believe in as a person, as a trader, as an investor, where you want your money safe at. Remember, there's things that pay dividends and all this stuff, but that's kind of like what it is, right? Hopefully that makes sense. How do you accurately determine supply and demand zones? Basically, any structures like this, candle body structures together, that's where you have the demand and supply. I don't use wicks, I use candle bodies. Okay. So for example, like, all right, I'm not going to draw this perfect, but you get the point. You see how, like, the structures, the structure here is a little bit different. So I'm grabbing the top of that and I'm grabbing the bottom. We traded a range there for quite some time. Here we had a nice drop and we traded sideways for quite some time with some candle bodies and then dropped. So once you break out of it, that's when you confirm that zone. So you go from drop, base, drop, and then right here you trade between zones. So you go from demand to supply, demand, supply, demand, supply, and then you break out and then you create a new zone. Is it just consolidation zones, top of consolidation zones for supply, bottom of consolidation zones for demand? Oh yeah, it's all good if you're late, no worries. There's quite a bit of you. You guys can always watch the recording too. So yeah, you just want to find a zone on top and bottom. You want to find the big zone. So you can trade the inside of the zone as well. You can trade the top and bottom of it. You can do all kinds of stuff, right? But as long as you guys get the bigger picture as to like where you're at in general, I think that should suffice. So like, for example, right here, kind of like what I broke down earlier, even with the market being red right now and the news being a little complicated and stuff, you're still at a demand. No matter what, you're at a demand. Now, my question earlier for the guys was, where would you rather buy at demand, here or here at the bottom? Because this is a demand zone right here. Supply, sellers, yes. Yes. Depending on time frame. Well, this is the weekly. So if you get the alert right here, would you buy it? Or would you buy it up here? Because this is a whole demand area. Some say you can only use the zone once. No. This is a demand zone. Like, how can you only use it once? Expecting that it will wake up and at the area bounce high. Yeah, this because in the past there has been buyers. So if in the past there hasn't been a bounce, the natural thing to do is to buy at that same specific area, no matter how big that red candle is. Demand supply zones still need confirmation of volume. Can't just buy if price reaches that zone. Yeah, you can still buy it no matter what, but that's going to depend on you as a trader. If you like to catch on a big red candle, I like to buy huge red candles. Some people like to buy above big green candles. I personally don't like to buy above big green candles. I think it's ridiculous. Yes, there's unfilled orders, so that's why you want to buy exactly, because somebody somewhere has a limit order right here to buy that dip. And once that price point hits, it's an automatic bounce. Not to say that it's going to cause a huge reversal, but you're definitely going to see some buyers step in and try to hold it. So you want to try to get the lowest point, and the lowest point would be at the bottom of demand. Yeah, Ricky, thank you. Yeah, buy the bottom of demand. You can always try here. Like, it's not wrong if you buy the top. Okay, people buy the top and then average down in here, and then you average back in. So in this case, like, what you would do is you would buy here on this first one on top, add right here on the bottom, and then as soon as it breaks out again, you add some more, and then you just let it go. But that's how some people trade too. So there's many ways that you can use the zone to your advantage. You just have to understand where exactly it is at and what kind of market condition you have. For example, right here, because we're facing all this news, this catalyst, and this bearish sentiment, like, you're not going to buy right here at the top of demand. You're going to wait till we get to the bottom and potentially catch a bounce play there, like a dead cat bounce, what everybody else calls it, a relief bounce, a bounce off an indicator. I don't even know if there's going to be an indicator here, but somebody somewhere is going to say that there is. And they're going to say this is the last support, and then somebody's going to try to buy it. So no matter what, you got to understand what type of entry you're going to take. It's all going to be a matter of who you are as a trader. Some of you guys won't stomach buying here. Some of you guys can't even stomach buying at the bottom on a huge red candle, but some of you will buy once your indicator crosses over, or maybe you get some type of good news and then we get a nice green candle and you want to buy on the green candle, then that's cool. Just know your place when you're trading. Is there supply and demand zones in crypto? There, anything that has a chart, there's always supply and demand. That's what this market is made up of: two things: people buying and people selling. So let me ask you guys this, right? Price action, right? I just gave you guys the definition of price action, and you guys see how my charts are structured, and you guys see tons of alerts over here. So in case we do get a bull run, I'm ready for it. I haven't set these bottom alerts yet just because it hasn't been pre-market. Usually I wait for pre-market to set my alerts. But are indicators important for price action? Can you guys answer that? Somebody? No. That's a lot of no's. You guys are smart. Somebody said yes. Indicators are practically useless, right? Not exactly. So indicators are an extra tool for confirmation, okay? Many indicators are lagging. Yes. You say, yeah, I don't use indicators. What you see on this chart is what you see, and is how I trade. I like indicators, guys. I've liked them in the past. The only thing is that I never found success. The reason for that is because it's a lagging indicator and it doesn't really give you much information. Indicator is not going to come tell you that you got to buy right here at the amount on a big red candle. All right, that's not what an indicator is going to do. But like I mentioned earlier, there are indicators that give you some strategies and specific trading styles, and they're useful for many things, but they're not based on price action, because price action is based on something that's happened in the past. So now what you're doing is you're predicting the future that, hey, if if ES comes down here, which is SPY, for most of you that don't know, if SPY reaches this specific level, I'm going to buy. There is no indicator out there that's going to tell you to buy right here, because everybody's going to say it's bearish. Don't buy the bottom of red candle. But that is the best time to be buying. Who is a famous person that said buy when everybody fears? Come on, somebody knows this answer. And sell when there's a lot of greed. Come on, somebody knows. Who is a famous person that said that besides me? It's Buffett. There you go, Warren. See, you guys know, right? So you guys do know this, right? But in reality, a lot of traders are still afraid to buy on a big red candle. Tell me, why is that, guys? Why are people scared to buy on big red candles? Somebody give me some. You like using the 8 and 21? Solid, man. Psychology. Psychological. People are afraid of red. Knees weak, arms are heavy. Mom spaghetti. They think it's going to start falling more because they're scared of red, because it could go down further. People have fear that it will continue dropping. Yeah, thank you, guys. I appreciate that. And all those answers are correct, okay? And again, it's because no indicator in this market will tell you to buy on a huge red candle or the stock isn't good. I appreciate that. That's a great one. Thank you. Like HMNY, AMC, GME, they're not all that great, guys. If you're thinking that they're great, you're probably in the wrong Zoom session. So we would basically want to use an indicator as a way to confirm a past trade. No, then we would use past info, make a plan towards possible outcomes. No, the indicator is just something, it's a type of strategy that you can use based on the indicator itself, not based on price action. Sorry, there was another one that somebody said. I heard that to find supply and demand, you have to find the candle with the biggest move, finding where it opened, drop, bought from where it opened to the rich of the previous. Nah. Okay, so remember, guys, that when you're trading this, you have to know what you're up against. Okay, right now I'm not buying a dip right here. I'm definitely not. I'm buying it down here if it comes, just to get that nice little green ride, even if it's like for like 30 minutes, right? If I go on the 15, I zoom out, and then my alert hits right here at this point, I'm gonna look for a little relief bounce. If that doesn't happen, you know the cool thing about this is that my stop loss is legit right here. How simple is that? You buy at support, no matter how red it is, and then you stop out right below. If it goes back inside, get back in. Okay, that's how I trade, and that's how simple I like to keep it, because it doesn't make sense to buy on a huge green candle, right? I would rather buy. All right, now I'm just gonna use that as an example, right? I would rather buy right here. Okay, and then set a trail stop, or a stop loss based on how much emotions I can handle. If this was a dollar move to the downside, I would use $1 as a stop loss. If I feel comfortable using 20 cents, then I will use 20 cents. If I am comfortable only losing 10% or 20% or 15%, that would be my stop loss. But no matter what, below that specific level, it has to be your stop loss. This will depend on you as a trader. If you are somebody who did a whole portfolio right here, how much of that whole portfolio are you willing to lose? 10%, 15%, maybe $1 move on the stock, 0.15 move on the stock, a $5 move on the stock. What is it? No matter what it is, that you determine your own stop loss. But just know that below that specific price point, you have to have a stop loss no matter what. Did that answer your question, Aldo? Yes, cool. Let me ask you guys a question. Who is found in demand, in a demand zone? Investors, retail, market makers, banks, institutions? Can you guys tell me who is found in demand? Retail, market makers, retail. Chef lives there, I do. I'm always in demand. Retail, anyone? Big money boys, okay. You guys have a lot of answers. Buyers, institutions, retail, okay. I would say all the above. Remember that when there's a demand, there's a support. So psychologically, you want to think buyers. So always remember that, okay? Good job, though. You guys are very wise. I'm still learning every day. All right. Let's break down some charts, huh? All right. Somebody give me a charts breakdown for you guys. Because I just gave you guys a lot of information. Home Depot. What time frame do I start on? Since you gave me Home Depot. I'm going to ask you questions. Weekly. All right, I'm going to go on the weekly. Now, after that nice breakdown in the market, right? I like to keep things very simple, okay? Simplicity, I think, is the best thing to do in this market, no matter what kind of trader you are, okay? First of all, your entry, your exit, and your stop loss. And you can have a couple targets, but you don't need tons of, lines everywhere, because the minute you open up your charts, you're going to be like, oh, why do I have this line? Why do I have that line? And you're just going to drive yourself insane, right? So for HD, I don't want to kill your name, so I'm going to call you Royal. Do I need this trend line down at the bottom right here? Do I need this? Nope. No. Okay, so I don't need it. Okay, so where would I need it? Right now we're around 346, right? So would this this one's a little tricky. All right, right here. All right, do I need this one right here? Yes. Yeah, that's the only one, because technically that's the next area, right? So you want to find the next area of a zone, right? So this one's a little tricky. So I'm going to use this piece right here. You see right here how we kind of those candle bodies are stuck together here, and then we bounce right here on this candle body. So I want to make sure I have those two lines basically on the weekly. Okay, that's all I need. Do I need anything on top? Nope. Perfect. Time frame. Why is all right? Let me ask you. I haven't answered this, but why do I only look at the 4-hour time frame? Does anybody have any idea? I never look at the daily time frame, if you guys are wondering. Extended hours, trend, swing trader. So with price action, you guys want to make sure that you have all the information. All right. So extended hours, number one. With the 4-hour time frame, there is never no gaps. Okay. With a gap, you have missing price action. So it doesn't tell you what went on. With the extended hours and the 4-hour time frame, you get minimal gaps, and you get all the information that you need to identify the trend, the way that it reacted, how big the red candle is, how big the green candle is from earnings, or whatever it is. You have the full price action history Therefore, when you make a decision based on price action, a judgmental, you know, buy the dip, or a judgmental sell the top, short the top, you'll have everything that you need right in front of you to make that decision. If you don't have everything you need, which the daily time frame has gaps, then you're gonna have missing price action. Okay. I didn't know that. Something new. Yeah, perfect. I always look at the 1 day. This is an interesting perspective to see. Yeah. But there's a reason behind all this, and I'm explaining to you here in the charts, right? So for example, right? Let's look at this. Look at the structure here. Very beautiful structure, right? Some of you guys may be like, oh, why didn't you mark the wick? Remember, you want structure. So the structure are the candle bodies, not the wicks. The wicks are only used for trend lines, right? In this case, maybe some of you guys had a little trend line there, maybe another trend line right here, so you guys can see. That's the only time that I use wicks. Other than that is no matter what time frame you want to use the candle bodies. Okay. So we do know where we're at. Man, it kind of sucks that this thing has earnings tomorrow. But look, if you were to figure out like how high this thing is going to go, look at the next area of a zone, right? So the bottom of the zone would be down here, because we identified that on the weekly, and you can see the 4 hour kind of just shows all the price action that's happened here, the bouncing up and the bouncing down, and then you have the top of this. So where would HD most likely go? HD will most likely hit this top, this 373, or it will most likely hit this bottom of 323 to 320 area. These are the 2 points that on the earnings, it may hit one of those 2 points. That's how you find the zones. You go from one zone to the next zone. That's what it is. You go from demand to supply. And you can see here, a nice rally. Here's your zone, your accumulation phase, your slowdown, your indicators are catching up. You know, your little EMAs are catching up right here or whatever. Your RSIs are cooling off and all that stuff. And your stochastics is crossing, and the retail traders are calling it chop. And then when this breaks out, it breaks out again. It makes an all-time high. So it's your rally-based rally. So that's your accumulation phase, and your bigger time frame gives you that public participation phase, which now you can say that we went from one zone to the next, from one zone to the next, and we did create a zone on top. Okay, look at this. We actually created a pattern. There you go. So it's your rally, base, rally, cool off, which it created a zone, but with the channel, with the bull flag, and then it broke up and it made an all-time high. So just identifying exactly this, if you were to turn this upside down, and let me show you guys a cool trick that I just learned. You hit the negative sign and you put HD, flip that thing around and let's see what you get. It's all upside down. Pretty intense, right? But you guys didn't know this, huh? How many of you guys knew that you guys couldn't flip this chart upside down? You guys didn't even know. Look, here's your drop. Remember from earlier? Here's your drop. And then there's that pattern. No clue. Yeah, if you guys want to look at a chart and be like, okay, I think this is going to be the bottom or whatever, right? You guys can do that, turn it around and say, I think this is where I'm going to buy the dip, and my stop loss is going to be that wick right there. So your game plan is technically right here. Just blow you guys away. See, now I'm able to use this, man. Incredible. You've been flipping your monitor, bro. No, you don't have to flip it anymore. You just flip the chart like this, and you can set up a game plan. Back to the regular HD, and now we have the same chart. Now we're just looking at it from the downside perspective. See? So you can do this with any chart, guys. You just hit the negative sign, HD, and then now you have it upside down, and you can actually game plan like this. So technically right now we're at a resistance, right? But you flip it upside down and we're at a support. So now you have an idea as to where we're probably potentially going to bounce. This only works for TOS? I have no idea. You guys should try it on TradingView and let me know right now. It would be nice to know. But that was pretty dope, huh? It's quite a bit of you guys in. Would you guys like me to do another webinar like this sometime? There's a lot of you guys in here. Cool. All right, let's clear this chart, right? So breaking down HD, just kind of like already broken down. How would, I mean, technically you can't really play this just because you have earnings tomorrow, but don't look at it. SPY looks like the VIX upside down. Yes, for sure. Yeah, no worries, Rowan. All right, you guys want to do one more? Because I just gave you a lot of information on price action and supply and demand. All right, what's a good one that everybody's going to be trading? How about give me a smaller ticker? Something that doesn't have earnings, something that already had earnings, and something that everybody can trade. Because if everybody can trade, and if I give you guys a game plan, if you guys don't make money tomorrow, PAC, Roblox, F, Nvidia, Disney. Let's try Disney, Roku, AMD, Nvidia, SoFi. It depends how small the account is. Maybe a 1K account. Maybe a 1K account ticker that everybody here can trade and understand. Does AMD have good good contracts now? I haven't traded AMD in such a long time. No. Apple? Let's do Apple. You guys want to do Apple? Everybody's familiar with Apple, right? Let me clear this. Oops. I actually have this on my watch list for this week. I have my chart up and everything. What time frame do we start on, guys? Weekly. He said 4 hour. Weekly, guys. Weekly. Remember, today's Sunday. So the cool thing about it, guys, is that when you guys make a weekly watch list, give you guys a quick tip. Don't, if you're charting, like let's just say market was open today and then you decided to chart tomorrow, don't look at the weekly time frame. Okay, because you already missed out on the technical analysis and the movements of everything. Okay, so don't go on Thursday and be like, oh, I gotta go look at the weekly chart. Like, don't do it. My highly suggestion and recommendation, not financial advice, is to always look on Sundays, the weekly timeframes for everything, and set those alerts for your major supports and resistance levels. That way, when it does hit that that alert, you'll know exactly, like, okay, that was my weekly level. And even if it hit on Wednesday, you'll know exactly what level it is. TradingView doesn't take the negative sign. Thank you, Knock Life. Appreciate it. I guess it only works for TOS, which is a cool trick. Just blew your guys' minds today. There's also going to be a trivia questions for you guys, FYI, at the end. Everything that we talked about, price action and zones. And if you guys didn't realize, I kind of gave you the answer in a different tone for every question. Hopefully you guys caught on. All right, so Apple. I like Apple. You can do a trade view with right click on price axis. Oh, okay. So he said you can right click on price axis with TradingView. Cool. Thank you, BTR. All right. So for Apple, since it's kind of like trading all weird here and we don't have much structure, I am going to mark this piece right here. And this piece right here. So you see how like we kind of consolidated right here and we kind of snapped back inside. The candle body is never closed above 173.20. So that's going to be my area of resistance, my supply. And then the whole supply is way up here. We really don't have much demand established, but you can definitely look at something like this. Okay. So I'm grabbing this big green candle and I'm grabbing the top of these two candle bodies just because there isn't much structure. Okay. Thank you, BTR. That actually worked for TradingView. You do you right click on the price axis. Okay, so your charts will go upside down. So this is all I need for Apple. I don't need nothing else. I do know that this is a demand down here and we're in a resistance point. At this point, what I want to do is go look at the 4 hour and kind of see what it's doing. What I like about this is that trend lines, they're amazing. And you know that the trend right here is your friend. So it doesn't take a genius to figure out that we're kind of just trending down, okay? So we're going to keep it very simple. What do we do in this case? And where is the next area of demand that we may hit? Well, let's identify exactly where we change price action, okay? Okay, see these candle bodies here? This was a previous drop base, and then it dropped even further. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that I have the alerts right there. Okay, so you would set a little trend line there, and you'll know that that's gonna be your smaller area of a target. So here with this downtrend, it's kind of cool because you kind of have like a little base. So wherever we open tomorrow, I mean, we're gonna probably gap down. You're gonna look for this price point down here. What you're gonna do is use the pre-market levels. So once it breaks below the pre-market, you're gonna write it down all the way to 164, 163, 162, all the way down to 160.40 based on the weekly time frame. So all this area is your strong demand. But seeing that Apple has been very strong, and the one thing I do want to let you guys know is that even with the volatility in the market in general, Apple is still holding its gains and it's showing that relative strength. So the value for Apple is still holding in general. As you can see, Facebook, PayPal, SQ, some of those tickers did not hold very well through this bearish market, but Apple is being very, very strong. If this thing were to drop, I would be very, very comfortable buying the dip down at this bottom. Number one, because it hasn't fully dropped with the market. Number two, Apple's a great company. As much as I hate the iPhones and as much as I'm against it and I like Androids, I will still agree that the value for Apple long-term wise, the investor wise, the growth wise, the future guidance of Apple is freaking amazing. It's outstanding. And everybody just, no, I'm not buying an iPhone. Everybody has iPhones and loves iPads and I don't know what else, iPhones and whatever has I in it, they like. But I would feel very comfortable buying these dips anywhere inside this huge area. You guys may think, well, wouldn't you stop out? Well, technically you buy whatever you can afford to lose. And this is a great opportunity for Apple if this thing would just come down anywhere in here. I would look for buyers to step in, at least to give it that relief bounce. So I would look for a downtrend like this. And then the target of the trend line. Right? So I'm using the trend line as a magnet. If you guys don't know, trend lines are like magnets. Do I use TRIN or VX to keep an eye on volatility? I just use VIX, VIX. But no specific level. I just set random alerts. That's it. But you don't need the VIX on a daily basis. You only need it when there's a catalyst. But yeah, Apple right here below 166, guys. Below 166, we're going to 164, okay? So if you don't make money on the put side, I'm gonna come back and remind you guys. Anything below 166 to 164 to 162 is gonna be puts, okay? I don't know how bad we're gonna gap down, guys, or gap up, whatever comes first, but I just know that everything's gonna be super bearish. Does that make sense here for Apple? Hope you guys make money on Apple. Just buy puts. Yeah, for sure, 5. You guys have any other questions? I was just gonna chill right here for like an hour with you guys. Would a 160 end of week be possible on Apple? Of course, anything's possible. Does it have to happen? No. Volume has to show the same effect of the candle if the price is going down, but the volume is not going up to show the same effort, then a red flag goes off. Continuous downtrend candles should have an uptrend in volume also. If not, then I start looking for a possible reversal. Yeah, if you use volume, yeah, by all means, use it to what you see. But honestly, volume is not always going to be an indicator that something's trending up or trending down. It's just more of a confirmation that more people are buying or more people are selling. Will this be recorded and put on Discord? Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna send it to Suji once I'm done here. But yeah, you guys are gonna have the recording. Yeah, 5 if you're using the volume for the candle, as long as you understand it, you know what you're getting yourself into. As long as you stay consistent. Do I use any indicators? The answer is no. What you see right here is all you see, is all I use. I'm gonna show you my other screen, my monitor screen. Just to show you I'm not lying. There you go. Can you guys see that screen? ES, NQ, RTY, Amazon, Apple, BA, Disney, Facebook, everything's on a 15-minute time frame. Everything's going. There should be alerts on these bad boys, and that's it. I don't need nothing else, guys. You guys see that screen, yeah? Hopefully you guys do. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Cool, thank you, Nakla. Hopefully you guys understand. Yeah, I only trade on the 15. Hopefully you guys understand supply and demand a little more today. Yeah, I don't use anything lower below besides a 15. 15 hour, 30, and 4 hour, and that's it. In the weekly to get my levels. Cool, appreciate it, 5. Can you explain how you pick what time frame to chart your zones at? 5 and 30. I don't use a 5-minute. 4 hour falling day weekly for weekly watch list. Yeah, I just use the weekly and 4 hour and then trade off the 15. Most valid on the 15. Yeah, because you get bigger candles, right? So for example, if you were to be on the 15 here, you'll be able to see exactly where it's being rejected, right? So in this case, like you see all this rejection here, you can see that the 15 never really closed above or never built candle bodies. But then here, like we made this little pattern on Apple. So it's already giving you the excuse that it's gonna break down. Oops. I'm trying to change my strategy from supply and demand. Do you usually get higher percentage returns? Yes, I do. Yes, Zoom. Everything on weekly and 4 hour, then trade on the 15. A quick definition of demand and supply. Demand is an area of supports where everything, a lot of value is established in demand. For example, you'll have things like news catalyst, you'll have upgrades at those levels, you'll have accumulation phase that defines a structure of candle bodies, not just 1 or 2, but multiple. And it would be the opposite effect for supply. Supply zone would be the distribution, multiple people of selling their stock, a negative catalyst, a downgrade maybe, or just a break of that trend to come back down. So it's a distribution, the supply. Supply is distribution. How long did it take you to learn this strategy? Quite some time, but I did it because I didn't have anybody specifically teaching me. So I skipped the whole process of getting mentored, and I did a lot of research and a lot of hit and miss. Took me a little over 2 years. Little over 2 years because I was messing around with indicators and 1 minute, 5-minute time frames and losing a lot of money. But yeah, if you trade supply and demand, your percentages will be a lot higher, but also your trades will feel a little more more comfortable, I guess you can say. Well, for me at least, I keep it very simple. Some days are a lot harder than others for sure. But with time, it becomes consistent and comfortable. Cool. Well, if you guys don't have any questions, I think I'm gonna let you guys go. Unless you guys have more questions to ask. Do you enter right when the candle closes in the zone? Yes. How much time do you hold a position? As long as the position makes sense. I don't know, sometimes 5 15-minute candles. That was actually really informative, and you explained really well. I appreciate you. I've been meaning to practice my supply and demand and learning to chart them for sure, man. Keep on practicing, man. I think I love teaching, and I get that same feedback a lot. And advice for quick fills on process. What's your process? I just buy, hit market order. Yeah, I don't think twice, man. The minute I get my alert, I'm already thinking of getting in. So I just market order. I don't care for mids or wait for anything specific. I just buy it. Do I do any one-on-one training? I do, Giovanni. You can DM me later if you like. That's what I do. My main focus is to do a lot of one-on training and just to help out as many people as I potentially can. I know I get tons of DMs, and if you guys don't know, I am part of like 8 different servers. That chef bot that you guys see in Suji Trades, that bot actually goes out to many servers out there. So a lot of people have my my breakdowns and charts and stuff like that. So I just want to reach out as many people that I can to actually help versus trying to shove an indicator in somebody's face and tell them that this is the strategy that's going to make you $1 million. Curious? You can DM me that later. Do I swing these trades or mostly day trades? I swing and day trade, mainly swing a lot. But with these current conditions right now, with this whole war stuff, a lot of volatility in the market, so swinging has been a little hectic. So I try to keep it light. Like right now, I'm swinging Facebook puts and SPY puts. I got some time on both of them. Most likely, I will probably wake up green tomorrow. What's your social media? Chef Zones. I don't know how to reply. That was weird. No. Weird. How do you determine when to swing? That should be front of the day. You go from zone to zone. Will you do more classes? Yeah, definitely, man. Cool. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna let you go there. Hopefully this helped you guys. I really do want to make a difference in you guys' trading. And remember, it takes time, guys, to learn supply and demand. Everything takes time to find consistency. Don't force anything. You know, the number one thing that I've learned is to not try to find something that's not there. And if it's not part of your strategy, don't go looking for it. If you're learning on the side a different strategy or maybe like a something totally different, then for sure learn it. But before you get into it, make sure you're comfortable, you know, before you try to, you know, do error and trial type of thing. Keep minimal position size until you're comfortable and consistent with that specific strategy, and then you can size up. But for now, if you guys are still learning and trying to find consistency, keep it very simple as potentially as you can, and don't over trade. Don't look for things that are not there. If there's a day where you don't see value right in the morning, then by all means just close it up, walk away. Try to discipline yourself as much as possible, and you know, protect your capital is what I'm saying. Okay, once you find that experience, then you'll be able to sleep at night with money working for you. But until then, sleep at night knowing that you're making the right choice. All right. So I appreciate you guys for showing up. Thank you for everybody who answered. If you didn't answer, it's okay. You guys gonna hit this trivia questions, and all the answers should have been right at the beginning. So if you guys go look back at the video and you guys need to answer that trivia, my tone actually gives you the answer for everything. Okay. So yeah, I'll let you guys go. You guys enjoy the rest of your night, and I will see you guys in the chat. All right. If you guys have any more personal questions too, feel free to DM me. All right, guys. Peace out.